And we're live.
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining our happy hour. This is the last one of 2023. Hard to imagine this whole year has gone by already. It's incredible how supportive you all have been as we embraced this year. And we're going to have another one again in January, very early in January. We'll announce the date a little closer to it, but I think it'll be the second Thursday in January. You can pretty much count on that. And so, yes, you are seeing, no, Scott Harper, you are not seeing Sorcerer Kings today. That is the next one. But you are seeing some really cool things. So fear not. But we will do a 2024, which is our 5th anniversary. Woohoo! Let's get fired up about that. 5th anniversary celebration starts in January, and it will go, because I'm the marketing commercial guy, it will go all damn year, because there's no way I'm giving up a single day of it. So be ready, be excited. And in the meantime, we have some amazing things to show you. The lovely Dimitra and Yanni, well, Johnny's not that lovely, but, Dimitra is.
Oh, no.
Are going he knows.
Look at him.
Are going to be talking about OP Season 3, and I will do my level best to distract and drive them a little bit nuts. But we're very, very excited about what we've got coming up for you around organized play. But before we go to that, I know that we have to show stuff. And I'm going to start off by showing a beautiful image I was just sent today. And I think some of you have seen very, very recently the Ironclad in its glory, but I just thought this was worthy of starting off the show. And so this is the Ironclad Drake. It releases December 22nd. Pre-orders have just begun, and pre-orders with your FLGS have also begun. We will start shipping these to FLGS next week. Very, very exciting. And so that's coming. So that's something to look forward to. And next, somebody is doing all of the admitting, I hope, right? Whoever it is, thank you. I hear constant ding dong, which is, I know, Leo, you love what I use. So the next thing we want to, I beg your pardon?
You said when you use you love it when I use it? What?
The ding dong, the stupid noise that I hear that apparently no one else hears. So the next thing I'm going to show you is some of the January releases. You will be the very first people to see what we're about to show you, including, and I'm embarrassed to admit this, but including our own team, with the exception of a couple people in the office, no one has yet seen these. So we are very excited to show you first the City States Companion Cavalry. And you're welcome to turn your mics on to ooh and ah, please. I think that's completely appropriate.
Oh boy.
Very nice.
Ooh.
Ooh. Thank you. Now here's another shot of them up close so you can see what they look like. Oh, that's really close, but let me back that off a second. And like I said, these are going to kick off our 5th anniversary. Really getting into the detail here for you. But I think it's worthy to show you the detail because it's pretty damn impressive.
Ah.
Thank you.
Wow. You guys nailed it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So those are your January products. That's one of the January products. The next one I'm going to show. Let's do, while we're on the horse theme, the Sealed Temple. And you can say, for those of you who have favorite factions, I know that we in the company are not allowed to have favorite factions.
That's a lie.
We're
That's
not.
That's a very big lie. But here are your 100 Kingdoms Order of the Sealed Temple. And again, I think you can all agree the detail is stunning, and hats off to Demo for the painting. Demo and his team. I shouldn't. Maybe Demo didn't do all of these. Actually, I shouldn't. It's got a beautiful team of people also working. So the next is it. Do you want the overall theme? I think I did the close-up first, right? So let me do that. Another view.
Ooh,
Gotta love the standard.
Yeah,
the helmets are amazing. Look at the helmets, guys.
And these images are hot. I mean, Tasso, I think you sent them to me 3 hours ago at most for this.
Yep.
I mean, this was done. We were pushing to get these done. So I mean, we're very, very excited to show you them. I haven't even completely had enough time to embrace them the way I should. And then Joey, are you sitting down?
I'm here. It's painted.
You
Always
know
here?
what you know what's
She
coming
already
next.
knows what it is.
My baby.
You know what it is. Do do do. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh, the back of it though.
What?
I will do an all over, but the close up I think needed to go first.
That's amazing. What a profile on that. And to anyone confused, I own 8 abominations and I need more.
And it's an insane model. And for those of you that were asking last time that there was about the legs that they were coming down to a sharp point. So this has been addressed. So you can see now in the full image that all of these issues made sure to address that utility challenge.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get the other image. It's trying to show,
Robert.
even though I've got all the previews hidden, it's still trying to show them to you. It is. My computer is working against me.
Oh dear Lord.
Right? Michael Contreras did an amazing job sculpting this, and the team casting this in resin, I think, did an equally amazing job when you think about all of the work that goes into creating a model like this. It's decidedly a team effort, but this is a Contreras. This is a worthy artisan series. We're calling it a 5th anniversary remix because obviously there is an A-bomb already out there, and this is going to be the first 5th anniversary celebratory item as we kind of go back to our roots and reimagine and rethink what it would look like if we knew then what we know now.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're pretty excited to show you those. So that's a really nice way to kick off, I think, this happy hour. And I haven't been reading the chat because I've been focused on showing pictures, but I'm gonna, as I noted, be turning this over to Dimitra and Yanni, who are going to lead most of the conversation. And I'm going to start off with just saying why, if you're a store owner on this call or you're a Vanguard on this call, why do you care about OP? Why are we having a happy hour about OP? And yes, I still have some other previews and some pretty pictures to show you. So stay tuned. If you thought you were going to hang up because you're like, oh, I've seen all this stuff I need to. No, you haven't. But you're going to sit and listen to OP. And you know why? Because OP welcomes people to the community. It's probably the single most important thing that we do as a company. Making great models, 100%. Making a great game, 100%. 200%, having organized play. Because if we have all of that and nobody plays with it, not very much fun. Organized play for us is absolutely important. It welcomes people, it grows the community. It's fun, right? I mean, it brings joy to people's lives. And why are we making a game? It's to bring joy. It's, you might look at this as a little like, well, this is the commercial side of McKay. Okay, you're right. But it keeps stores open. Your FLGS Maybe you're mad at them from time to time. I get that. Maybe if you are an FLGS on this call, you're going, wait, organized play doesn't keep us open. You bet it does. It brings people into the store on a regular basis to play our game, all of the games. Organized play for every company should be absolute must. And, if you're a Vanguard on this call, you get to be like Santa Claus every day. So you see my background there, right? You get to be me all the time. Santa's here. Santa gets to say, yay, here's some gifts, here's some fun things. So, and if you want to say OP, what does it mean? It's great, it's fun. But here's the thing, for OP Season 3, we're adding some juice to the right? There's some electric stuff coming. And by that I mean, who wants to play in a world championship? And after Dimitra tells you about OP Season 3, I might tell you a few other things. So, Dimitra, it's all you.
Okay, that was a great introduction, but the photos are much better. So, Yanis, please follow my lead.
Yep.
Like my army does.
Go ahead. I know nothing about it. I'm going to make a million questions. Go.
Okay, just give me a second. Okay. Am I doing this correctly? I hope.
You are indeed. It looks beautiful.
Okay.
Yep.
This is the first time, by the way, and Dimitra is so much better than your host because I've never shown you a deck. I'm always bringing it, and she came so prepared. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Okay. No, this is not beautiful. What comes up is beautiful. So, guys, here we go. So this is what's coming up in January. The tournament kit, the narrative kit, and the paint and take kit. Don't worry, you're going to see much bigger photos to enjoy them. But let's start with the tournament kit. Yanis, do you want to read the contents?
Of course. So, guys, to make your life easier, we thought that we would make them more spicy and more inclusive, to give you a lead, to give you everything you need to go through every kind of event you might run in a store or a club. So as you can see in the tournament kit, which is a more competitive play, we have a first place certificate, second and third place, which we name Conqueror, Warlord, and Distinguished Officer. These will be certificates, you will sign them, you will give them to the first, second, and third place, so you have always something to give, something beautiful for someone to put on his wall if he wants to prove that he's a mighty conqueror. Other than that, because we not only want to support the competitive play, we want to support every aspect of the game. And we want to thank you for not being toxic, for being really good players, with a very good sportsmanship and trying your best to build your armies and paint them. We also have the best sportsmanship certificate, which you can have players vote who was the favorite opponent, and the one who gets most points, he will get the certificate, the best painted army, and a wooden spoon. Probably for the last player, we saw that this was a thing among many vanguards in many events, so we thought, why not do it? Go ahead, a wooden spoon. And of course, 3 exclusive models, 8 alternative command cards, and beautiful stickers, 8 sets. That's right, 8 sets, not 8 stickers. So every player will walk away with a beautiful set of Conquest stickers. And of course, sorry, I forgot the tournament registration code for Agam points for 8 players.
And
Yanni, I do have a question that now
Of course you do.
That I just wanted to say that, a lot of players and a lot of Vanguards asked us about the tournament code. So now it's a tournament code regardless the amount of players per event. So it's one code. We made this quality of life change because a lot of you have asked it. So now, when you host an event and you are essentially using a tournament code to gain an Agam, all of your players play Agam. So you no longer need 1 per 8, but now it's 1 per event.
That goes for the tournament, yes, as Leo said. And as you can see, here we have 3 fish gnomes. You know, just stay tuned until the end
Yes.
of the presentation because we got something spicy for you.
And the little guy on the right
Here too,
is
right? I mean, we're in the Olympics year coming up in 24, so this is totally appropriate.
Hmm.
really okay. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So let's see everything. Yay.
Here you go.
Enjoy. We have the 3 certificates for the top 3 players and the other 2 for best sportsmanship and best in army. You can see the sticker set, the tournament code, and I'm sure you all just ignoring me right now and just staring at the exclusive models.
The
So
amount of comments are pretty funny, Dimitri.
Yeah.
You're doing great. Keep going.
let's get
manage
it.
to do that.
Come on. Turn on your mic.
Everyone wants to be a winner right now, today.
Yeah, these models are insanely beautiful, I have to say. Whoa, I cannot hear.
Although some people do want to lose to get the wooden spoons. There's a lot of requests for wooden spoons, which I think is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There is an unheard faction character. These characters are named, but I think everyone knows that the middle one is a Weaver Court, the duelist. The pirate and the emissary are to be determined, to be named. So they are characters.
Beautiful models. Every single one of them. I love them.
Their names are actually Steve, Janet, and Bill. Fun fact.
Really? The third guy's name is Bill?
That's Bill, yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
What? Why would it not sound right? That's his name. His parents named him that.
Okay.
As long as you
I
don't
have no
call it
argument.
Aaron, I think you're fine.
Okay. So, shall we move to the next one?
Oh, Dimitri, you must. You must. There's so much more to see.
Yeah.
What is next? What is next?
Next one is the narrative key.
Oh, nerd
Yeah.
kid. I can't help but admire those lovely fish gnomes there playing their game.
Oh, just you wait.
So, guys, yeah, I know. So, guys, apart from the more competitive play, we also have the narrative kit for those that want to run casual events or host slow grow leagues. We have the narrative kit. You have the cloth map, which is going to be an amazing, very high quality cloth map for you to hang on your store, in your club, with your friends. You can pin down, locations each one controls, however you want to play it, and you can make a whole story out of it. You're going to have 3 metal objective markers, which are amazing. You'll see them later on. 4 measuring tools, 8 alternative command cards, 1 for each player, campaign rules booklet, which is going to help you a lot, 8 conquest sticker sets, and 8 store activity codes for Agam points, 1 for each player. And I think, Dimitra, correct me if I'm wrong, those stickers are different than the other ones
Yep.
in the tournament kit?
Show them the
Oh,
picture.
So you need to have
muted
both
myself,
kits.
So, yeah. Here we go.
Oh. Wow, the metal coins are amazing.
Yes.
And
They are.
they're going to be big, guys. Don't throw them anywhere. I mean, if anybody pisses you off, don't
No,
throw
no,
them to your
no,
opponent,
no,
please.
no.
They're heavy.
We're a peaceful community. Don't do that.
Amazing stickers. I love the measuring tools.
I love the angry chicken sticker.
I do too. I wear it.
That's why you have it there. My favorite is the fish gnome hugging the tontor.
Yep.
I mean, that takes a cake from me.
Aaron,
And the clock.
everyone who is asking, I'm just going to jump in. The OP kits are coming the end of January with all of the January releases we just showed you. that seems to be coming up a lot. So I thought I'd jump in and answer all the questions.
Yep.
End of January.
And go ahead, guys, because these will be very, very useful for all vanguards and all kinds of events. And I don't think anybody is gonna miss that. Is gonna want to miss that.
Mm-hmm. So, and last but not least, we have the paint and take kit. Look at the fish gnome. Oh,
Look how much he tries.
that's me drawing.
Modeled after my expression
my-
when they saw me trying to paint.
That's me painting the abomination I have behind me. Yeah. So yeah,
So
here, Yanis.
I can see them. Here we have 8 minis. You say 8 noble lords brews from the 100 kingdoms. This is 8 full minis.
8 full minis for 8
Wow, amazing.
creative players. Yep.
So
How did you get
basically,
this
we
by the
give.
commercial guy? How the hell did I approve this?
Is this true? Is this right, Daryl? Okay.
It's on the screen. It must be right. If it's on the internet, it must be true.
It must be true, yeah. And of course, you got the bases to go along with the mini, table tent, and paper mats, which Dimitra will now show us how amazing these painting paper mats are gonna be. You ain't gonna believe it, guys.
You're going to want to collect them all.
Boom.
Yeah. Because these paper mats also show you how to build the model. And they have a QR code that takes you right there. It's amazing. And of course, it protects the table so you don't make a mess out of it.
Yeah. And you can make names there as well.
Yeah. And we went with that model because it had a very good aesthetic. You can show people how to paint armor. You can show people how to paint cloth. A little bit of skin. It's amazing and super easy to build and paint. And it's a very useful model. Even if you don't play 100 Kingdoms, I mean, I've painted it. It's a really nice model to have around, even though I play with Drews. I love it. And I think your players will do too. And it's a good start.
Yeah, but, you know, remember those fish gnome thingies that we had before?
Really? You mean there are more?
Yeah, every kid is going to have an extra thing.
What? More stuff?
Yay. So,
What is this?
this is an idea that we had because everybody loves fish gnomes. I mean, I do. And we decided to guide you through the LP kit usage, I should say. Yanis, help me.
Yeah.
So yeah, we wrote down some basic instructions of how to use the kits to help you out, to guide you through, and we decided to make it more fun and create an instruction comic with the fish gnomes. So those little photos that you saw before are part of these comics. They're going to be different in each box, sort of different for the narrative and the tournament kit, and totally different for the paint intake. Totally. I mean, you will see. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
It's a sneak peek. Come on.
Yeah. Sneak peek, and every OP kit has a few differences in the comic because it refers to, you know, different kinds of events. As you can see, you're a vanguard, and the first top left pick, and you have to approach the store, you have to talk to the store. Second pick shows you have to book dates, have your space organized, gather the people, give them the awards, the prizes, and post it also on social media so more people know and more people come into your community. Because that's what we're trying to do, create a lovely community with an amazing environment and high quality gaming life for everybody. And it's a very basic but very nice guide on how you can run things. Even if you haven't done this before, if you have zero experience, you can go forth and, you know, use it just like that. QR codes will take you places. And of course, we're here to help you with any questions you might have. And the fish gonna make it prettier, and we all love them. I know Richard is somewhere screaming now, "Meet fish nerds."
And Brooke. I cannot hear Brooke. Where are you, Brooke?
Yeah.
Your people, Brooke. But yeah.
All right. Anything else that you want to share with the team? Jordan has a question. Jordan, you're up.
Yeah, I just want to say that I really appreciate all the work that you guys put in, and the amount of work that I know probably went into this comic is wonderful, and whoever drew it did a great job. And I just want to say thanks for all the hard work you guys do.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Jordan.
Makes the heart feel good. No, that's awesome. We appreciate it. We're very excited to be showing these off to you. We as a team, and this was a very collaborative team effort. I mean, I think everybody was pretty much involved. Really worked hard to make these. And I like to say, if you can make it so that Daryl can figure out how to do it, then every FLGS store in Vanguard can definitely do it. So this was dumbed down for me. And so I had to go through it and make sure that I could understand everything. And I kept it very, very simple so that, if you have a reluctant store owner, if you happen to be a Vanguard for a reluctant store owner, even they can figure it out, because you can just tell them, hey, if Daryl can figure it out, you can figure it out. So that's the nice thing about this. And, the other thing that I would be remiss if I didn't bring up is that all of the OP events, of course, tie in greatly to our companion app, right? And Leo, I mean, you might want to tell them about some of the things that we've added very recently and quickly into the companion app. But I mean, that's one of the reasons why we launched the tournament play functionality into the companion app, because we knew this was coming. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Leo, or not, but
definitely. You've been noticing that since the very beginning of our Army Builder Online, you've seen how we have been expanding the capabilities of the app, right? So the Army Builder was simply a very simple, let's say, first step, but we want to make sure that the companion app is an all-encompassing tool that provides quality of life to tournament organizers and to players. You've given us great feedback. We are still putting new things in the tournament function. For example, now you're going to, yes, I do have a new mic. You're going to be able to now, for example, play less rounds during a tournament. So this is something that we're fixing. You asked for it. We're adding new functionalities towards, certain things that have been requested. It will take a little bit of time before we have the player-facing side, so people be able to see the pairings. But it's very important to say that as we streamline and we're looking at some of the bugs that you guys mentioned, all of our official events, and especially the events that were going to be some of the events that Daryl foreshadowed, are going to be run exclusively through our app. So if you're a Vanguard, if you're a community member running tournaments, it is crucial to make sure that you do these events through the app, so you can get all of the beautiful rewards that we have. And of course, you're going to be seeing the narrative payroll side of the app. Thank you so much for your feedback. We've received a lot of comments on it. We are fixing all of the things that you have mentioned. You'll notice on the Discord, I've been doing posts about what have been the problems that we have been resolving and any other updates. And so, you've seen, if you're with us for the last couple of years, you see how far the Army Builder has come, and it will go even further.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting for us to see. And when you do get the Apple or Google Play notification of an update, do it, please, because there's always cool stuff that's being added to it. And it is amazing. Bradley, you have a question. I apologize for making you wait.
It's more of a comment. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. Thanks.
Okay, cool. So I just want to piggyback off of your statement that the system should be easy enough for someone who's never done it before to run. I wanted to gush about the app and how easy that made running my first tournament. We had a very small tournament down here in Albuquerque, and having never run a tournament before, the app made it really easy to get people signed up, make sure lists were validated. and then track scoring. I didn't have to do anything aside from get the thing rolling, and then the thing just kind of took off on its own. It's a really great app if you're brand new to setting up any kind of events.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. That's awesome. And also, it wouldn't be me without doing some kind of shameless plug. So I'm going to put in a shameless plug for our beautiful, whenever it decides to load. Because when you're running an event, particularly as a Vanguard or store, please add your event here. We're really thrilled. And of course, it's later in December, because I think also people haven't put them in. The November calendars, you can see there, is quite full. This will also migrate down the road, but we're working on putting it into the app as well. So fear not, it's coming. But please make sure you do put them in the events calendar, because we can't help you get people to your event if we don't know about it either, right? So we always email that out once a week, the events calendar. We put that on our social media. Our social media just hit 35,000 people as followers. And our social media reached 7 million people last week, to the point where, amazingly, you as a community literally crashed our server on Monday night or Tuesday night. I've lost track. It's all a blur. I, as the commercial guy, melted down and freaked out, and then went, okay, well, figure it out. And so we extended the sale 2 more days for everybody who could not get in. Thank you for your patience, and my sincere embarrassment and apologies that you managed to somehow exceed the server limits. But I am very, very grateful to you all for doing so, because it showed the power of community, and it allowed me to yell at someone who wasn't me in this case. So that was nice. Our IT people did not like me that night, but that's okay, because, that's my job. At any rate, so you do have another night. Today is the last night. It ends when the team comes in tomorrow morning for Monster Madness. So if you do want to take advantage of the $99 Hellbringer, Sea Jotner, or Fallen Divinity, or the $359 pairs on the Jotner, Tantor, and Drum Beast, this is your last chance. They will never be this cheap again. The other thing I want to note is on the Jolly and Mean holiday set. I guess I can show you for those of you who have not seen it. This is one of the, Tasso and Natasha have been doing truly beautiful work with photography. And I got to say, Tassos, I don't know which one of you did this one. It's my favorite. Like, this is absolutely my favorite photograph. It's just stunning. I don't know why I like it so much, but I do. There's only about 40 of these sets left, and they are not being reproduced, and they are not coming back again for 2024. This is it. So if you haven't bought yours yet, and your FLGS has already sold out of them, we have about 40 left, and then they are gone for good. So they've been selling very, very well, and I think this photograph had a lot to do with it. So just fair warning. And likewise, the City States Founders exclusive is also on the endangered species list. It will be the next thing to sell out for sure. And, I don't want to predict that it goes the way of the brood, but you never know, because they've been amazing at how fast they've been going. So thank you for that. Let's see. So I noted the beginning, or sort of the beginning of Dimitra and Yanni's talk, that we were going to talk about OP in a bigger way. And Leo, do you want to, I am not of Greek heritage. That's going to shock everyone, I know. But
wait, what?
What, that I'm not Greek?
That was, my God.
I know. You're shocked, right?
I know.
But, so I don't want to steal the thunder unless you want me to. But we are very excited as part of our OP program, once I get my computer to cooperate with me, to add to that. Sorry, guys.
I think that I'll be very happy for you to do the honors. But
Oh, really? Okay. I'm trying to get my computer to work, and now all of a sudden it is giving me a fit.
Your computer just found out you weren't Greek.
I know. Sorry, gang.
He has now been accepted into the Greek community, Daryl.
I can't show this yet because it's putting the previews there. Oh, I hate this computer right now. Sorry, gang. It's acting weird. Here we go. All right, so one of the things that we are proud to bring up is the World Championship at the end of OP Season 3. And it's going to be on the island of Chios in Greece in the North Aegean Sea. Today it was 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius there. I don't know where you all are. Some of you are probably where it's warm. Where I am, that feels like it would be amazing because I am below 0 in Celsius here today for the high. So, yep, super excited about that. I've never been. I know many of my colleagues have been, and I will let them share their feelings about it. But when I did a little Googling, isn't it a UNESCO World Heritage Site there? The 11th century monastery Moni. Moni, did I say it right, guys?
Yeramoni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Look at that. It's also, and Leo and Tasso introduced me to mastic on one of my early trips. They're chuckling because they said, you should try this in your hotel room. And I did. And I loved it. And it was phenomenal. And I drank the entire bottle before I realized, oh, yeah, that's got some alcohol in it. But it was really good. And it's pretty exciting, to say the least. We're going to set up a number of regional tournaments, GTs, that will be qualifiers for people to join. And that is why Leo brought up the player-facing parts of the app. Yep, that's one of the reasons we're working on it. Because we know people will want to know, and we are. And Leo, I'll let you talk about how we're weighing participation. It will not be just the country with the most population, maybe the one I'm sitting in. That we're not going to have all Americans going to the Greek islands, even though I'm sure the Greeks feel like that's all that happens, anyways. We seemed like everybody I knew was going to Greece this year.
So this is just a beautiful. There's two things I want to say here. First of all, this is a beautiful opportunity for us to invite you all in our country, where we're from, just to get to know you better, for you to understand a little bit more of who we are, what we stand for, how do we see gaming, what word gaming is for us, and just bring you to essentially a place that is very personal. And I would say to Stavros as well, because this is the place that he would be, he would go on vacation, that he would live very close to in his heart. So one part that we're excited about this is that we're very happy to bring you where we live and get to meet you better. And the other opportunity that we want to create here is that, so right now, as we have our events and we have our tournaments, and we want to make sure, that these have participation in community as their number one priorities. We want to also give an opportunity to people that want to explore the more competitive aspects, of course, always respecting, inclusion and community. And so we will be creating this this is not the actual title, but this is just for you to understand, let's say a world circuit. Now, what will happen is the following. Apart from the events that you're usually playing, exactly how you are registering them right now and gaining ag for them, there is going to be a separate kind of event. So for now, for lack of a better term, we're going to call it, let's say, a world event. Now, what that event is, first of all, think of all of the big events that we're setting up in shows, let's say like LGT, CanCon, LVO, Adepticon, GenCon, all the big ones that we go. And we're also going to be giving people the opportunity for communities to host their own world events. Through these events, you're going to be gathering points. These points you get points simply for showing up. You get simply for, of course, playing well. And then as you start amassing those points by participating in different events, you will ultimately be invited to participate in a world championship. Now, what is incredibly important is that in this system, we're aware that the different populations on a per country basis might actually end up having uh, huge results when it comes to accruing these points. So what we're doing is we're taking into account each country's player base, each country's population, and how many points players are amassing from each region. And so when we actually end up inviting players to the World Championship, we're making sure that all of the communities, at least all of the regions, let's say, are represented equally. So there are going to be the top players from all these different regions. Of course, there might be more players from a country that is more populous, but for example, you wouldn't, if there were, and I'm just throwing out a number, if there were, let's say, 16 people, it wouldn't just be, 12 people from the US just because they have the bigger communities. We will make sure, that each region is represented well. So everybody has a chance to be invited. You simply have to participate in events, competitive events, try your best, and you can secure a spot.
Okay, because I have been gently kicked to talk a little bit about our vision for this and where it's going to be held. So, Chios is actually the island where my family is from, effectively. And it will be held in northern Chios. It will actually be held not right on the beach because that is illegal, but we are literally less than a stone's throw from the beach. It's going to be an outdoor property, and you're literally going to have the sea maybe 15 meters away from you. It's just not technically on the beach. We're going to be setting up shade. We're going to be setting up a barbecue. And we're going to set up the tables outdoors. There's going to be shade. Don't worry, we're going to shade everything. It's going to be very different to your standard tournament. That's one thing I can guarantee. The idea is to hold it. I think the final consensus was late September. So the temperature, the weather is still fantastic. The summer is cooling off, so we're no longer hitting the ridiculous heats, but it's very, very pleasant. We are going to be offering room and board for the guests. It's a small, isolated spot, okay? Do not imagine a Mykonos kind of place. We're going to be hosting it early in the week, so people can travel over the weekend to meet us there to meet us at the airport, because then we have to secure travel to the island. So we will give an arrival date and a time to meet at the airport meeting point. And the island itself is actually the 5th largest island in Greece. It is actually the traditionally not very touristy at all. It's the island from where the most ship owners hail from in Greece. So they tend to be rather reclusive. But it's slowly been opening up. Bunch of ordinary pains in the ass, but that's my roots. So it's a place I love. And it is actually beautiful. The beach itself is gorgeous. If you guys get a chance to Google it, do so. We will be posting photos when we make the formal announcement on Facebook. And yeah, the idea is basically a small, intimate, chill gathering where we get to play. We get to see the best players in the world play. And the idea is to eventually expand this, because the beauty of having it outdoors is just we add more tents and we can add more tables. And the idea is to expand this to not just be top players, but also have people who eventually, not now, please note this, it's to be able to bring in people who love the lore, people who love the painting, host painting tournaments, basically grow this to be a huge event in and of itself. Off in this little unknown corner of Greece, with the beach right there, so you can jump in whenever you're in a bad die rolling streak. Although I don't know, Leo might kill me over what that would do to the tournament timings. Sorry, my mandatory dip. Yeah, so that pretty much sums it up.
The comment section is going crazy. Leo, I think if you wouldn't mind just kind of because I think a lot of people were maybe either daydreaming or asleep or not paying attention to how one gets to go to this. If you could just recap that again. And then another question that came up was, how does one get their event to become a qualifier now? That seems like a far more appealing thing than it did 15 minutes ago.
Perfect. Okay, so to recap, we have the standard tournaments that we play in GNAG as normal, right? And then we are going to have what we call as world events. World events, first of all, are the events that we host in big events. Let's say like CanCon, LGT, LVO, Adepticon, Gen Con. Apologies if these are not the only ones. So if I'm missing one, we're gonna give you a full list. So don't worry about these. And then each community will have the opportunity to do a world event locally for themselves. So what that means, that each player can participate in one locally hosted world event every 3 months, and of course as many events of the ones that we host as they would like. And by participating, so big GTs, not just big GTs, and so because what's important is that countries that have a smaller population, even with 12 people, they will be able to host an official Worlds event if that's the amount of people that you have. What's important to know is that when you go to an event, the more people, the more participants, the more the world points that you will be getting, right? So you are incentivized to group up with with other communities, Conquest communities that are nearby, and host a larger event. That will give you more points for everybody. The more points you get, the higher you climb in the ladder, and the best players are going to be invited in the World Championships. You get points by participating. You get points by playing well and making sure you reach top 8s or top 3s. Regarding it has of course to do with the amount of people that participate. But what is extremely important for everyone to know is that when we invite people into the World Championship, we take into account the different populations of each country and the different, let's say, the how big their communities are. So just because one, let's say, region might have most players, that does not mean that all players are going to come through there. We're going to make sure that we weigh everything. And people from the US have obviously the opportunity to come in, from the UK, from Germany, from Poland, from Czech Republic, from all across, our gaming communities. We're going to make sure that, that you're represented and that you have an opportunity to participate. So no, it's not exactly an LO system, and we're going to say more information on the exact details on that. But you will be able, first of all, to ask for an event to be submitted through the app. Essentially, how it's going to work is that, unlike the regular events that we have, which is simply you start a tournament and that's it, this one, you're going to have to request it at least a month before you host it. You're going to work with our community team. They're going to clear that for you, and they're going to set up, we're going to make sure you set up the process. So from that point on, you will invite players. Players, they will give simply their Living World PIN account. Every person that is registered in the Living World has a PIN. If you're not already, you will have to register, and I highly recommend it in our Living World. And this way, you'll be able to be registered, and when you get there and play the game, you will be earning your points. So play well, play a lot, and if you're frequent participant in these events, you have a very good chance at being invited in Heroes and play with us. Until which
sorry, Leo. Go ahead.
Until which month can people gather points for the World Championship? So we will announce the exact dates of the World Championship further down the road, and we're also going to announce the cutoff point. Now, of course, you will know all this information in advance, and in this way, you'll also be able to, let's say, schedule a little bit when you want your local events to be ran. If it's a store or a club, that's perfect. If it's a Vanguard, they could host one for you as well.
And you'll have time to book flights and everything. We're going to cut it off, with enough time to be able to get reasonable airfares, not with 3 days notice. So understand, we know that this is not, you're not going to be doing an event the week before and have it qualify. That's not going to happen. Just so that we're all clear about that. Another question, Leo, that came up is the minimum number of points to be a qualifier in a tournament.
So a minimum number of players, that will be 12.
No, well, players, that would have been the second question, but the number of points, can they play 1,000-point tournament, a 1,500 point?
Okay. So thank you. So that's a great question. So in order to participate in these events, they are going to be at the points that we recommend for organized play in general. So for TLUK, that will be 2,000 points.
Perfect. And will there be a painting requirement in the qualifying rounds to get invited to the World? I would imagine the answer is yes, but it's not.
Yes. So of course, you're going to find in our website at Parabellum under tournaments. You're going to find all of the rules that have that they're there in regards to what goes when it comes to painting, what goes when it comes to conversions, what you have to have with you. So all of the rules found there, you'll have to follow in order to participate in a world event. And also for your perusal, now if you go into Parabellum rules and you go under errata and FAQ, usually before what happened is that you would download the errata document. Now you'll notice there's a link and it takes you into a part of our website that it has a website version of all of our errata and FAQ. So we're also streamlining going towards, a world event. We're streamlining the way in which you can access FAQs and erratas as well to make it even easier. And hopefully soon you'll be able to draw this information through the app as well. So there are a lot of quality of life things that are being built to help you make your experience as smooth as possible.
And I do know, and Leo alluded to it earlier, and I want to just reinforce, don't start bombarding us with questions tomorrow. Let us get out the document to you. That will be coming, because otherwise, we're going to not be able to get the document out to you. We'll be busy answering questions. Leo, I know I'm right on this, but you can clarify as well. This is a Last Argument of Kings tournament, because it being our 5th anniversary of Last Argument of Kings and our firstborn. Does not mean we love our second-born less, but we want to give time to build up to a First Blood World Championship. Is that right?
That is 100% correct. So we're starting with TLAQ right now for no other reason other than celebratory of our 5th edition, going back a little bit to the roots, and actually making sure giving us the time that we need to have everything perfect and ready for you before we also put First Blood into this. But First Blood has we wanted to have tournament play that is equal and as developed as TLUK. So for this one, it's going to be TLUK, but people that love First Blood will have an opportunity to participate in world events for those.
And encourage people to start presenting First Blood tournament and play for those who love skirmish more than rank and flank. And we're not saying people have to do, and if they love TLAOK, play TLAOK completely. But have, for those of you who have stores, have a First Blood night as well. What I've learned as I've traveled around this world is that there are players for both games, because there are players who like playing different styles, but they love our lore, they love our miniatures, and we respect the hell out of both game systems. Make no mistake, they are equal siblings, even if one came a little younger and a little later. They are very, very much our equals within our company. So just don't, for those of you that maybe grew up on TLAOK and are used to it, don't think it's the little brother thing anymore. The First Blood is growing up fast, and any of us that have gotten along in years knows those age differences matter less and less as we get along in years. So be forewarned, First Blood is to be taken just as seriously.
I would like to answer a couple questions that I see that are on the topic. So Scott asks whether if at some point somebody is hosting a world event that is after the finals. Well, you're right. This is going to, the points there are going to count towards the next one. I see a question of whether there are plans for official team tournaments in the future. So we've seen a lot of requests for multiplayer, first of all, style of TLAOK and First Blood. So that is 2v2 or 3v3. And this is something that we have seen it as feedback, and this is something that we're very happy to put out there. But specifically to the team tournaments, this is also something that has been requested, and we're very happy to see that communities around the world are growing to a point that now that as we move on in the very near future, we're actually at a very good point to start looking at team tournament formats as well, which would be very very interesting. So it's not something for 2024, but definitely a first version of how team tournaments will work in Conquest could be out in 2024. So there's a question about whether when you'll be able to start accumulating points, and also David asked if tournaments that have happened so far give points. So tournaments that have happened so far up until this point do not, but LGT and CanCon will be considered world events. LVO. Sorry, LG, I keep saying, yeah,
No
LGT
worries.
as well, but
I got your back.
but LVO and CanCon will be considered world events. And of course, you're going to get all the details with exact starting dates and which events soon. And for all of those of you that will not be able to make it to LVO or CanCon, you will be able to at that point to register your own local events. So you will see exactly how that works. Yes, Adepticon, Gen Con 2, all of the big ones that we go to.
Yeah, you can count on all the big ones, and we are, the team this week has been working really hard to be thinking about how we get everybody involved. LGT 24 would be probably too late in September, Leo. Something to keep in mind. So we are working on all of these things.
LGT would probably count towards the next one. So
right,
but
it's definitely one. But LGT 23 will not, because we hadn't put this forth, and we're not going to do that to people. Nicholas, you have a question?
Yeah. So some of the vanguarding stuff I do is to organize online play. Is there the possibility for having an online qualifying event?
So there is something in the works that I cannot say yet. So for now, I will say not yet.
All right.
I would like to answer also some questions, Joey. So from Prime Gaming, Vicarious, what if I travel from a country into another one to participate? How would my points be counted? Well, so whether you participated in a global event or not simply has to do with you register by giving your PIN. Essentially, what happens, you can only participate into 4 local events. And when we say local, we don't mean one that is geographically close to you, but when we say local, it is a global event that has been hosted by someone other than us. So it's the community leader, a Vanguard, a store, an LGS, a club, whatever that is. So if you participate in one local event with your one world event like this one, you will not be able to gain points in the next 3 months from it. But you will be able to play and participate, but you only gain points, right, for every 3 months. However, if you do 4 a year, local events, then you can, on top of those, you can also participate in however many larger events, the ones that we run as well. So you can essentially do 4 plus whichever, however many um, we're hosting. Now, what's important is it is a lot better for communities to come together and do one larger event around your area rather than break it down. And yes, David, it's very important to take into consideration that we're not inflating the amount of what you call it, the amount of attendance unfairly.
And I think it's fair to say, Leo, as well, that for some of the big events that are world qualifiers, there may be some invitational scenarios where Dave Richardson suddenly wants to come to Adepticon. We'd be like, Dave, no. That's got to be saved for the folks local to Adepticon. We love you. We'll see you at UKGE.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and then where can we all find the cons that Parabellum will be at? So when we release information about that, we'll make sure that you know exactly which ones are going to be counted as world events.
We're working on that list now, to be clear.
Will winning a major event like Gen Con be enough points for an invite, or will it take multiple events? So this is a great question, and it's important to understand that it's down to two factors. First of all, winning on its own such an event gives you the most points that you would get. Then there is a multiplier on the points when it has to do with certain thresholds of participation. So the more people, the more points you can get. And so of course, certain major events could potentially award more points on top of that, right? That is also to incentivize, let's say, or to give, let's say, help into smaller communities that they only have that their local cons cannot nearly be as big as one in the US, let's say. So it really has to do with which major event, but just because an event is a major event, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is an invite. So we're going to be announcing the points as we move on.
Have we got, I know there will be a lot of questions. We do know. Oh, Captain Madlove, you have a question? Go ahead.
Found the mute button. This is the Geek Captain's technical advisor.
Okay.
I do have a question for some of us Vanguards that, I plan on running some pretty large events coming up next year. And the Vanguards that are doing a lot of the organizing of the tournaments aren't going to have the opportunity to play in the tournaments because we're running them. What's the consideration for those folks that are putting the work behind the scenes like you guys are? Also, I'm taking this opportunity to say thank you to everybody at Parabellum because you guys are doing a fantastic job. The app, the lore, the minis, the whole thing, the way you treat the community, the way that you treat the game, your question is coming through. And it's showing, as you can see, everybody responding in absolutely nothing but positive to what you guys are doing. So keep up the great work. Fantastic. Love being part of this community.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. It is a good question, though, Leo, in terms of people who are TOs. How do we make it balanced for them? Otherwise, we have no TOs, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely. Now, I would rather release this information with the document because there's a lot of things to consider, but what I can absolutely tell you is that we can never discount the role of event organizers when it comes to an event. And definitely winning an event is great, but there's no event to win if there's nobody to run it, right? So we cannot in any way forget about those that are running the event. So what we're going to do, we're going to say a lot more things when we release the document and give a lot more exact information about how that's going to be affecting, let's say, the people running the event in terms of points, in terms of rewards, or in terms of other incentives. But there will be, because without you, there is no event to play at. So
yet again, proving my point. That you guys are on top of it because it's clear that you've already thought about it. So you guys keep on rocking. Geek out.
Thank you, Geek. I knew Zwick would get that one. I knew he'd like that. Well, you can get the group together there, Cody, and figure this out. I have no doubt. I think anything else, Leo, we want to add before I preview a couple new things?
That's all for me. Stay tuned for more information. There is a lot to be considered and a lot to be put out. This is a just a wondrous for us program, and we're just so excited to share what we have with you. So stay tuned, and you're going to be able to get all the information soon.
Oh, thank you, Garrett. That is a collaborative effort. We are having a lot of fun with our memes for sure internally. Leo has contributed probably more than his fair share, but he has some very, very twisted and warped but hilarious looks at things. And there's been a couple we've been a little afraid to share. I'm not gonna lie, but maybe someday when we do when we do what is that show, Drunk History, we'll do Drunk Happy Hour and we'll put a couple of those memes up. That'd be kind of fun. And so one of the things that we showed last time around was terrain, and we know that terrain is important, and we know that terrain is coming. So don't worry. Part of the deal, of course, is we know people want terrain. So you saw that 100 Kingdoms, for those of you who were paying attention last time. Those are 3D print files. They will be STLs. You will have also, we are working with a couple companies who have the ability to produce these for those who don't have their own digital printing capabilities or STL capabilities. So we'll have them both ways. I've got one more to show you. These are coming in February for the first set. So we'll debut them more formally with how they're coming at the January happy hour. But I know many people have seen these in the background of the Ironclad Drake and been asking questions. And so I felt, why is that weird? That I felt only fair to showcase these to you today. It's cutting off the bottom for some reason. What is going on here? It's always something with these stupid computers. Oh, yeah. Oh, you already see it. Now it's still cutting them off because of the stupid preview screen. All right. Anyway, you get the gist. Oh, now it's nice and big. So one more thing I'm going to share with you. Well, I should say, are there any other questions? People want to raise their hands before we wrap up this happy hour, because we're wrapping it up for 2023, getting excited for 2024. Jordan, you have a question.
Yeah, and you may be about to talk about this or not. I feel like last happy hour there was mention of potential like faction specific objective markers.
We are working on it. We don't have them yet, but it is something that's definitely, we hear you, and we are working on a bunch of different accessory items, for lack of a better term, as we go into 5th anniversary. They are definitely, we don't make those metal coins, for example, or some of the objective zone materials. We don't do it ourselves, so we are getting a number of different opportunities and quotes made to us.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Dave, you do have a warped but somewhat not completely inaccurate look at the world, and I love that about you. Bradley, you have a question.
Yeah, I was curious. I know that the lore is definitely one of the things that sold me on this game and this setting. Will there be any plans for novels or any other kinds of books in the future?
Yes.
Yes, for sure. It comes up at every happy hour, and we're glad that you are also anticipatory. And I will just say, it is not as simple as it seems that it should be. Fair to say, Stavro?
Say that again, Daryl?
It's not as simple as you would think it would be to just suddenly
no.
put out a book of lore that we already, in theory, have made, but it isn't as simple as we would like it to be.
No, and the novels, the biggest challenge is finding somebody whose voice, the younger the world
Careful,
is.
you're going to sound like a boomer, like me.
No. The younger the world is, the more careful you have to be that the first novels hit the right tone. Otherwise, you end up with all sorts of stuff that is all over the place. It that can also be appealing because you can create this massive breadth of and there's a little bit of everything for everybody. But the heart of it is when you start, you've got to make sure that the writers hit the right tone, and finding those writers is incredibly, incredibly hard. Mostly because I'm incredibly, incredibly picky. But it's a work in progress.
There was a note, and Bradley or somebody raised their hand. Maybe they didn't do it, but did it by mistake. Peter Davidson, and I don't know if you're on the Google Meet and want to speak, but you wrote clarification in the rules based on the Discord. It's really needed. I'm not 100% sure what you're asking, but I do want to make sure everyone is aware that the rules at parabellum.com email address is answered very, very quickly when there is a question about a rule. Even Dave Richardson and I, last happy hour, got in interestingly we were talking about translations and how even both of us speaking the English, one of the king and one of the set free Americans, and it is not the same English. And so no matter how we all write, we will all write things in a way that is somewhat different no matter how much we try. And if that is the type of clarification you mean, I am very confident to say that the rules at Parabellum Group Leo leads this and he is on it like white on rice. He is just completely engaged in helping people. And then that gives us a lot of opportunity to rework the wording for us as well. So please do use the rules at parabellum.com. And if you do have questions that you want to ask publicly, you're welcome to here. But certainly that's a great opportunity to get clarification. Captain Madlove, the pronunciation guide for names, I do put that out for every retailer. That is 100% true. And I think the team does it oftentimes just to torture this guy. And I don't blame them because I torture them enough that I can't really fault them for it. But there are some names that you did not even get because I'm just like, no. Absolutely not. There are not enough vowels.
What do you mean some? You vetoed like a full third of the names, Daryl.
During COVID, there were a couple that were so spit-worthy that I'm like, no, there's not going to be. But it's a good question, and I think we can put those on our website to have an official pronunciation guide.
That'll be funny. I want to add a little bit to the question on the Discord clarification. Is that one thing I mentioned? Now you're gonna find, under our Parabellum rules at errata, when you click, you'll notice that it takes you to a website rather than a document. The same thing will happen for First Blood, and essentially by doing that, we are relieving the need to have to update and republish a document. And so now FAQ and errata in designer's notes is always a live page on the website. And so as people ask more questions, we will be able to update there. And as we take some of these questions and further clarify them in the rulebook, we'll be removing them. So this process is going to become even more seamless now.
Awesome. Thank you, Leo. There is the narrative set of rules is already, correct me if I'm wrong, Leo, it's already out. We announced that last month.
That is correct.
Yes.
So
Yes.
right now, what you'll be able to find in the narrative rules is a basic set of how to create and start expanding your payroll. And this is something actually that we will be releasing content for constantly. So right now you have the very basis of it, and then tied into certain living world events, and also, periodically you will be able to find new items, new new armory upgrades, new everything essentially for your factions within the context of narrative. So this is an ongoing process, and you will be able to always go back and find more stuff for your payroll.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yes, Nicholas. That's exactly. So essentially, it's a sandbox right now, and this is the very basis of the system is out. And so upon that, you'll see more and more things being added to it, and just expand the concept of narrative.
Perfect. Rob, you will join us in January, I hope? and you will see those hints because I will have a different backdrop in January. It will be one of those hints as to what's coming up. But the January happy hour will have a lot of 5th anniversary 2024 stuff, so you will not want to miss it. Any last call on questions? Raise your hand if you want them. Otherwise, Victor has a question.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
We can. Perfect. Yes, go, please.
Just wondering, any timing updates on the First Blood updates? Just curious. I know friends and I especially are kind of interested in anything to do with the retinue revamp.
Yes.
We are working very hard on it, and we hope to have a pretty exciting announcement for you guys soon.
And but yeah, definitely, especially early first quarter, along with certain other updates. You'll find certain revisions on the core rules of First Blood. So there are certain things, some issues with wound allocation. So there are systemic things that will be addressed. And writing news, funny you say it, is actually quite a big thing.
Awesome, thank you. Really looking forward to it.
I think just to answer the question about the happy hour for January, the tentative plan, and I say tentative, is that it's January 11th. We will, as we get a little closer, to make sure we have everything ready to go. But that is the current plan, is to have it January 11th. It'll be Thursday. We're going to kind of take stock about whether the 3 o'clock, the hour earlier, made a big difference one way or the other. You can certainly write in to contact@para-bellum.com, and we can get some feedback as to whether depending on where you are in the world, the best timing has typically been in the U.S. afternoon, early evening in the EU. No matter how we do it, it's really hard for us to get all of Asia involved as well, and Australia. So my apologies to those who are over there. But that seems to be, so I backed it up an hour with daylight savings and everything to see how that would work and to make it a little bit better for my Greek colleagues as opposed to starting at 11. It's nicer to finish at 11. So that's the goal. If 3 o'clock works for everybody, my apologies to everyone who is just joining, thinking that it was at 4. We tried to bold and put in red that it was an hour earlier than normal. But I knew that would be hard for everyone to catch it. I will also note, I've seen a little bit of the traffic on the Discord. We have not announced a number for the Worlds. Leo is throwing that out as an example. So please be aware that that is not a number that is out there officially. It is just a discussion point. We will put out an official document to make sure that everyone feels good about it. So don't panic yet one way or the other. We have not made a final decision on that. Is that fair, Leo?
Yeah, absolutely. This is for us to discuss. This for you to know what's coming, because there's a ton of great things coming next year. And so, yeah, you'll have the opportunity to see the specifics, go through them, and see what the Worlds means for you and how to participate in it.
And look, we know that and we're so grateful, frankly. Let's be very honest. We are incredibly grateful at the number of people who will want to come to Worlds. And practically speaking, we also recognize it's not going to be simple for a lot of people around the world. But we also can't host on an island in Greece a huge number of people. So I know no matter what, it will be a mixed blessing in this regard. And live streaming it, I would say almost certainly, whether it's live or whether
no, that will definitely happen.
Yeah,
the issue then becomes one of internet connection, because remember, it's an island, not a popular one.
Yep.
But at the very least that evening, but it has been one of my goals since forever to actually, because of the turn sequence of Conquest, it should actually be possible to have, to be able to cast games. And it's something that we really, really, really want to do. It's just we've got to build up the technical know-how and the partnerships to be able to do it. We are working on it.
Yeah, it's definitely part of it. It will be shown one way or the other, as Deborah said, for sure. So absolutely. Jordan, you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, I've had a lot of questions.
Okay, we
so
love that. That's
I
why we do
know-
this.
So this is totally separate from all of that. I know that the classic Abomination is going to be going bye soon. And I have some new players getting into the game that are also playing Spires that have come across videos that contained a holiday Abomination. Is there any way to get those STL files? It might be a cute way to maybe be like, oh hey, last chance to get this Abomination, and also it's a nice little Christmas sale. I don't know, something to think about.
Yeah, what the hell?
I mean, it's an easy way to sell
You know what?
Abominations.
We'll come up with a way to do it. We put the rules up. I love that idea. I'm looking at my backdrop. How could I possibly say no to that?
Fantastic.
I pretty much have one of the ornaments for the Abomination on that tree somewhere there, I'm sure.
Good job, Jordan. Way to go, Jordan. Awesome.
Yeah. We love Abominations here.
Well done, Jordan. Tasso, you and I will have to figure that out tomorrow. How we make that done. But sure, it sounds like a very reasonable thing. And I also know that a few of our partners who do have the ability to print STLs have offered to print them for people last year as well. And I'm sure they still have their STL files. So I'm very confident that Elric's, I know we can definitely get them to my mini factory for the EU group. There's a little hint about who we might be working with for the terrain, but we can figure that out for it. For if you don't have the ability to use STL files like me as a boomer. So this is the last chance because I'm not going to take any more calls after this. I have one more thing to show. Okay.
Show it.
You guys have done it. Now it's good. Oh, where did I put it? Oh no. That's not a joke. I thought I had it ready to go. I don't know what happened. I must have closed it by mistake. Boomer. Ta-da! Your first look at the sorcerer of the Sorcerer Kings.
I can't wait to paint that.
And for those of you who are going to CanCon or to LVO, you will have an exclusive first opportunity to have the sorceress, the sorcerer, in your hot little hands at those two events. And then everyone else will have her in February. Please tell me somebody's excited because it's too quiet.
I'm
That is
super
a painter's
excited.
dream.
Right?
Right, yeah, no, painter's dream. I'm super pumped.
We are left in
of these people. I can't wait for the entire Sorcerer King. So just send them to me with a bill, and I'll buy them all. You got the address? Just send them.
Love it, love it.
And thus my wallet cried out in pain once more.
Yeah, they will not all release in February. That is not what I said. What I said was this limited edition preview model will release in February. However, Sorcerer Kings are planned for March for Adepticon. So some pretty exciting stuff. We'll have a lot to show you in January. And I have a question for everyone. If this sorceress were made of metal, would she cast iron?
Oh, God.
With that note, I leave you all to a wonderful holiday season with great cheer. And I hope you have a wonderful time. We'll see you back in early January live and hopefully chat with you by emails and everything else. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Demetra. Good job.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Demetra,
Thank
Gianni,
you for joining.
thumbs up. Leo, well done. Everybody supporting Tasso with pictures, pretty pictures. We're grateful to all of you for being here, and we'll see you again. Bye, everybody.
Great seeing you guys. Bye.